Hey yo, welcome back, and you may already know, or not know if you're new here, that I enjoy doing a lot of challenge runs in PokeRogue. I've beaten the game with some of the quote-unquote weakest Pokemon in the game, as well as done quite a few solo challenges and different things. So I decided to put together a list of 5 great starters that I think could just help you get really easy wins under your belt, start building a lot of experience, catching more Pokemon and stuff, and build your confidence to where you could start also beating the game with some of your favorites, rather than just sticking to the strongest picks. And the first few are going to be pretty standard, strong picks, but if my last 2 surprise you, you have to promise to praise a like and sub and show your support. No lying, I will know. So jumping right into it with my first pick, we have Fuecoco, who, besides just having a really fun name to say, is also a starter that you start the game with, which not only is good because you just already have him if you're brand new, but also it makes it super easy to farm candies up on him. So just by playing the game and trying to catch the other Pokemon on this list and level them up, you'll be getting candies for him, which you can use to unlock his passive and to get more eggs for him, which can then unlock his egg moves. And you can also use it to lower his cost to make your starting team a little bit better. But the upside is you don't really need his egg moves. They're good, but you don't have to have them, and you don't need his passive, which is also good, but you don't have to have it. It gets better when he evolves. You'll see here it's Gluttony, but once he evolves, he gets the one that I cannot remember the name of. I never can, but it makes sound-based moves stronger, which is really good for him because his signature move that he gets at 36 when he evolves, Torch Song, actually boosts him while attacking. So you don't have to use turns to set up. You can just buff his special attack while you're sweeping. He's also relatively bulky, which gives you more time to do that. And he's decently fast, which you wouldn't expect. You know, I guess that kind of fits the whole crocodile thing. They're faster than they look. So other than that, I mean, he's just a good all-around pick. The main negative to him is that he doesn't really get good and come online until he fully evolves. So until level 36, he'll be sitting in the back line. You'll probably want to have someone else carry and just kind of keep him around until you have to use him. And at that point, he's going to be great. Alright, so our second pick is kind of obvious. Anyone who's watched my videos or played any Pokemon game already knows that it's going to be Magikarp, or more or less it's going to be Gyarados, because nobody cares about the derpy fish. So, Magikarp is kind of... okay, let me rephrase. Gyarados is kind of just amazing. He's got really good stats all around, huge attack, respectable bulk, pretty decent speed, and if you slap like Adamant, basically any attack boosting nature onto him, he just becomes a monster. He doesn't really need anything else. Most of his best abilities he can get through level up. He doesn't need his hidden ability, even though Moxie is amazing. It just kind of makes him better. But Intimidate, as his basic ability, is still really good. So it's going to help you set up most of the times by reducing the first opponent's Pokemon attack. You know, you could take a little bit extra hit and you could get a couple of Dragon Dances off, which kind of just leads us straight into the next thing. His move pool is amazing. So Dragon Dance plus Waterfall. That's enough said. You don't really need much else, but he has more if you want that. So he also gets Crunch, Ice Fang, some other moves that don't matter. With that, you basically just kind of sweep the entire game. You get a Dragon Dance off, maybe a second if you're feeling frisky, and then you just kind of Waterfall everything, and then Ice Fang or Crunch anything that doesn't, you know, die to Waterfall. If you can get Multiscale on him, that's even better, because he does have that 4 times electric weakness. So Multiscale is going to help you survive that. If you get any kind of items to heal him back up to full health, you just kind of keep triggering Multiscale, which kind of just makes you impossible to kill. His egg moves are really good, but if you can't get them, you don't need them. Ice Spinner is just a better Ice Fang. Knockoff is a better Crunch. And Dragon Descent is just his only really good flying move. Flip Turn, we don't really care about that. Flip Turn just kind of covers you till you get Waterfall. Waterfall is going to be better. You're going to be setting this guy up. You don't want to Flip Turn out. You want to set up and just sweep until he dies or your opponent dies, and usually the latter is going to happen. If you want to get the egg moves and you want to get his passive, that's actually pretty decently easy. Unfortunately, you have to get to the lake area farm him. But he is a common encounter, both Magikarp and Gyarados, so once you can get to the lake or the sea, you can just catch as many as you can, rack up your IVs, get as many moves and everything else as you can, you know, get as much candy. What I would recommend is when you start your run, if you don't go straight from the plains to the lake, just end the run and just do it again until you get to the lake, and then you can farm up Magikarp that way. If you're not, trying to get candies on something else like Fuecoco, and you just want to keep trying to farm your Magikarps. The other side note is he also gets a Mega Evolution, which is not gonna happen most of the time, but if it does, it's kind of just extra good. You don't really need it, but if you get it, you kind of just win harder. So Magikarp is a very solid pick. I would take him on basically any run when you just want to win. So my third pick is the last of the You Saw This Coming picks with Nacli or Garganacl. It's going to be a Garganacl before you use it. So the first pro to this guy, he's a mushroom. I don't know what else you need, but I'll keep going if you're still listening. He also has amazing bulk, which is pretty much the only thing he really has going for him, but it works out well. So the only reason you really want this guy is Salt Cure and Stealth Rock. That's all he needs, and he gets those through level up. So you don't really need to farm this guy up. You don't need any, you don't need Sturdy, you don't need Solid Rock for like the passive and ability and everything. Those help, but you're bulky enough that your main goal is going to be to get Salt Cure or Stealth Rock out, depending on what you're doing. Pretty quick to get. You just catch one and you're kind of just good. If you're battling trainers, like, Ivy or anything like that, you just kind of throw out Stealth Rock and you kind of just win the battle after that. If you're battling Eternatus, you just throw out Salt Cure. You have an annoying opponent you can't deal with, you Salt Cure him. That's really all you need. If you have Sturdy and Solid Rock, you kind of just have time to do that multiple times. So that's great. The other upside to him is he's pretty easy to get. You can catch him, or all three of his evolutions actually, as common encounters in caves and also mountain, but you don't, that's a little bit late game area. So if you're trying to just catch him early, you're going to want to go for the cave. So the bright side of this is if you're trying to farm up Magikarp and instead of going to the lake, you end up in the tall grass or grassy field, you can just kind of ride that out until you get to the cave, catch one of these guys, and then just end the run so that you have them, and then you can go back to farming up Magikarps who you do want to get extra stuff on. The negative to this guy is he's kind of just a one trick. You're going to use him to do Stealth Rock or Salt Cure, and that's basically it. He kind of isn't going to do much else. His egg moves are decent. You can see I don't even have all of them. I don't care to get them. Toxic is really good. Body Press is good if you can actually get the attack off. Other than that, you really don't need much else from him. So just a good solid pick, but you don't have to take him every run. He's only going to do a certain thing. If he's your last Pokemon left, you're probably going to lose the battle. So do with that information what you will. Alright, now we're getting into that smash the like and subscribe territory. Alright, so there's no way you saw this coming. There's no way you saw me picking Leddyba out of everything else in this game, right? But hear me out. If you're looking at the screen and you know much about Pokemon, you already know why I'm picking this thing. Alright? He's super low cost, and he's an amazing support. Now, it takes some prep. You've got to get Spore as an egg move, and you've got to get Prankster as a passive. That sounds annoying, but he's actually a super common encounter in the town and the meadow. So you can start games over just over and over again, catch this thing super easy, just chuck a Pokeball at it, you don't even have to attack the thing. You're gonna catch it. Alright, once you have that, you just get to level 12, you get Reflect and Light Screen, and then you win. See, everybody thinks you gotta pick all these Pokemon that can sweep and everything else. You need like 3 good sweepers. The rest are just whatever you want to fill the team with. This is my pick for that. You can get his cost down. I mean, you can get this thing down to like 1/4 of a point of cost. He's basically not even really on your team. But say your Gyarados that you're sweeping with goes down and you've got to switch, just switch into Leddyba. Now you have Prankster, you can use Spore, and you just instantly put the opponent to sleep no matter what. They got a Lumberry, you burn it off. They don't have a Lumberry, now you profit. Then you just throw up Reflect, Light Screen, whichever one you need, maybe both. You also get Safeguard at 12. You don't really need that, but if you like it, you can take that too. And then you can switch out, you can let him stay out until he dies. If you happen to get Pollen Puff too, you can heal up in double battles. It's kind of just really good overall, super low cost, low maintenance, easy to get. I don't know what else to tell you, man. Halving the damage from every attack type with priority and being able to put stuff to sleep constantly is super annoying for your opponents. I imagine their AI, they haven't told me, but when they lose, it can't feel great, especially when you're losing to this thing. All right, it's not what you would expect. All right, I do have one honorable mention here, and that's going to be Minccino. And the reason why this isn't in the normal 5 is because it does take more setup without getting a lot of its extra stuff. It's kind of bad for the most part, but it's also kind of easy to get. The town and the meadow, pretty easy to find there. You can farm this thing up really easy. Depending on what all you have unlocked for it, it's going to depend on what you want to run though. If you have Population Bomb, you're going to want to run Technician on this thing. So Technician is going to boost Population Bomb's damage massively. Population Bomb does not actually scale off of skill link like people think it does. It's based on accuracy. So you're going to keep attacking until you miss. If you can get Wide Lens on this thing with Technician and Population Bomb, you can solo the game. I have a video of me doing that relatively easily. If you want to check that out, I'll have a link down in the description. You should look at that after this video. But if you have the rest of your team to back it up, which I did not have on that run, you're kind of super golden, especially if you can get a King's Rock on this thing. You can just solo Eternatus in like 2 turns. It is insane. If you don't have Population Bomb, you're going to want to go with Skill Link, because Icicle Spear is amazing, and it gets a lot of other, multi-hit moves. I think Bullet Seed, Tail Slap or something. I don't remember. I'm not looking at the stuff for it. I wasn't going to put this on here. It was kind of a last-minute thing. But it's really good. If you can get him, you get Adamant. He evolves through a stone. So theoretically, you get his evolution as early as like the whole first biome. And his stats are insane once he evolves. His attack is relatively decent. His speed is super high. I mean, stats aren't insane. The rest of them are kind of just mediocre. But it's everything together that makes this thing really good. And I didn't put it on the list because it does take more prep. And it's not always going to work out for you, but if you have the extra slots and you have this thing and you have the stuff unlocked for it, it's pretty low cost. You can just throw it on there. I mean, I got this thing down to 2. I'm pretty sure I can actually get it down lower, but it's just a decent Pokemon. All right, tell me you saw number 5 coming. This one, maybe. You didn't get the Lediba. All right, if you already subscribed, you already liked because of that one, you can't take it back now. We're not going with any like fancy other region Meowths. There's 2 of them. They don't matter. We're going with the OG Vanilla Meowth, alright? And the reason I like this one is
I like money!
And the Vanilla Meowth is going to help us get
money!
This thing is amazing. Alright, you can find it in the town and the plains. Super easy. You're going to find it in the beginning of the game. Almost every run, you're going to run at least one of these things. You're going to want to catch a few of them because it's passive and everything else, its egg moves, they're all really good. They definitely help it, but you don't need, in quotations, any of that. What you really just need is Technician. Alright? Technician and Payday. Pickup is good too. It helps you a little bit in the beginning, but chances are it's going to evolve into Persian before you get to the point where Pickup's going to really matter. And when it evolves into Persian, it gets Limber if you have Pickup, and we don't care about that. Limber's kind of useless. You really want Technician. Alright, you're going to get Fake Out, which on a normal type with Fake Out and Technician, you're just going to do so much damage. First turn, knock off Sturdies, anything else, you just Fake Out, and then you Payday. And I think you get Payday at like level 12, and Payday is going to make you so much money. So you run this thing while you're leveling up your Fuecoco and your Magikarp and all those fancy things in the back, and for as long as you can in the run without switching, you pour all your rare candies into Magikarp, and you lead with this guy. You get Swords Dance, that's amazing. If you don't get it, you still just lead with this guy. You use Pickup, or not Pickup, sorry, I'm really obsessed with Pickup. I always run Pickup Mons. I try not to put any on this list, and this guy's kind of one. But you're going to run Technician, just Fake Out, Payday. That's all you're going to do. You're going to make so much money in the beginning of the run, and a lot of money later, and then when it evolves into Persian, it just gets even better. It still does the same thing, but better. And then, if you catch stuff later and you want to replace something, you can just ditch the Persian once you're sweeping everything with your Gyarados that's like level 50 or 60. I think my last run, I ran this thing as my lead up until like 470 or something like that, and he was actually kind of cleaning up with Swords Dance Payday. It's kind of insane how good this actually is and how much extra money you'll have. If you get Adamant, that's great. Persian and Meowth are both already super fast. You don't need any kind of like speed boosting or anything. Adamant, any kind of attack boost, that's going to be really good. there's not a lot else to say. He's easy to find. You farm him up. You make so much money, and then you pour that money into rerolls and getting Gyarados busted. You kind of just win the run. He's really good on pretty much any team. And that's my list. That's my top, in quotations, 5 picks, because we did have that 6th one there. If you guys liked any of my picks, let me know in the comments. If I chose anything that you choose on a regular basis, let me know. You can't say Gyarados. Everybody says Gyarados. We all pick that. We know. You don't have to say it. We already know. It's in your team. All right? But if you have any picks that I didn't put on here, anything you think deserves to be on the list that, you know, could kick Ladybug out of its slot, please let me know down in the comments. I'm always looking for more fun things to run, and I have not came even close to using everything in this game. But other than that, make sure you guys check out the other videos that are linked around here somewhere on the top of the screen probably about now, or in the description, all that fun stuff. And I will catch you next time.